welcome to the first episode of the Suits and Sneaker Stories podcast, live, well, not live, but from the Entrepreneurship Center balcony view. This is honestly a beautiful view, Tampa, Florida in the background. I want everybody to go over and watch the intro video first before watching this video, just to get a glimpse of what this podcast is, what our focuses are, and what our goals and outcomes of this podcast will be. But first, I want to introduce my first guest. It's an honor, it's a privilege, it's a pleasure to have my brother, MJ Kimbrough, on the podcast. How you doing, man?
That's a hell of an introduction, bro. I appreciate
it, man. Yeah. So before I ask you first question, I just want to give the guest, if you don't really know MJ like that, I'm just going to tell you who he is. And, it's a delight to have him on that podcast. So, entrepreneurship major, he's a sophomore, he's a content creator, has 1 million likes on TikTok, amassing 70,000 followers. He created his own media agency.
I did.
We're going to talk about that. That's really impressive that you've been able to do that. And a little fun fact about MJ, I actually just figured out, we go to the same barber, Fredo. Shout out to Fredo, by the way. Shout out Fredo. He told me that you're a black belt in Taekwondo.
I am, yeah.
That's unbelievable.
First degree.
Your first degree?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, bro. I was like, yeah, I'm not really surprised that MJ's a black belt in Taekwondo. I mean,
yeah.
What else can he not do?
I appreciate that.
My first question for you, MJ, and this is just Kyle's for everything, but who are you? Who is MJ Kimbrough? And for those who don't know you, I know you very well. There's a lot of other people on campus who know you, but for those who don't know you, who is MJ Kimbrough?
So that's a tough question, but I'll try to give you the TLDR of who I think I am.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm only 19, so that answer might change here in the near future, but I would consider myself a super ambitious 19-year-old sophomore college student.
Yeah.
That's what I would consider myself to be. I'm interested in entrepreneurship, content creation. As you said, I'm building a media agency, so that's one of my big focuses right now. But I just want to be able to excel in everything that I take part in because that's just one of my dad's core beliefs, and he distilled it down to me. So that's who I am in a quick 30-second clip of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early life. You grew up in St. Louis.
I did.
Midwest kid. I'm a Midwest kid too. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Come on now.
Midwest kids on top.
That's
bro.
what I'm saying, bro. I feel like we're different than a lot of people here because I think the school has a lot of East Coasters.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the East Coast, by the way. I'm not taking a shot at anybody from the East Coast. But the Midwest, it's definitely a slower pace than coming down here. It's very fast, very chippy. There's always stuff to do. And I'm not saying there's not stuff to do in the Midwest, but there's definitely something that's different, is what I'm trying to say, coming here. So what was the biggest transition for you coming from a place like St. Louis and coming here to Tampa?
So contrary to popular belief, bro, it wasn't really that big of a transition for me. I grew up kind of isolated and on my own, so being here, living in a single apartment, single dorm, coming to school here, it's the same as how it would be back home. I go to class, I come home, I work a little bit, I work out, I go to sleep, the same routine, just different area.
Yeah.
So in terms of the city though, it's a lot different. I think being downtown in Tampa, you get access to some of the craziest entrepreneurial places. There's a lot of new businesses spurring up downtown Tampa. You get to learn a lot from a lot of new people, up and coming people, and it's a great area to be, especially if you're an entrepreneurship major or in any major in business.
Yeah. I want to go back to you living by yourself. How was that, man? How was living by yourself? I know for me, I feel like I'll go crazy. I'll be talking to myself all the time. But how did you do it, man? How do you live by yourself with no roommates?
So I think it stemmed from the fact that I grew up kind of isolated. So to give a little bit of background to the audience, my parents, like me, were, and I get it from them, but they are super ambitious people still to this day. So they were clawing at success every chance that they got. So with putting a lot of time into your job and your career, you neglect, I wouldn't say neglect, but you give up time with your kids a whole lot more than someone else would who just wants to go in a steady career. My sister and I never had the greatest relationship. I think that we're just starting to rekindle that about now. So growing up, she kind of had her own quadrant of the house. I had my own quadrant of the house, and I was just always on my own, playing video games, working on a business, whatever, talking to people online, and I kind of just brought those skill sets here.
Yeah, I would say for me, I can relate to a lot of things you said, but I think I needed roommates. I needed people. I was here over the winter break, and I was by myself for 1 week. It was like only one half in a week. That was really challenging for me to do. I got a lot of stuff done. I was able to be productive. I didn't really have a lot of stuff going on, but I feel like I had a lot of voices in my head telling me to do other things, slack off, do this, blah, blah, blah. because I didn't have other people around me to kind of help me. And yeah, I have, a network of people I can call, but to be alone, it's really impressive. I think mastering that, being alone, has probably helped you a lot, I would say. It's helped you be with yourself. You don't really have a lot of distractions around you, which I think is very important. So coming to UT, why did you choose UT, man? I think that's the biggest question everyone asked me, everyone I probably asked you all the time.
Yeah.
I still get asked to this day, why did you come here, this and that. So why did you come here, man?
The truth of why I came here, because this school was not my top choice.
Yeah.
Everybody at my school, I went to a private institution. We all applied to schools like USC, Miami, UPenn, and the majority of us got into a lot of those schools, myself included. Mm-hmm. And I came to this school truthfully because no one else came to this school in my class. Yeah. That was the real reason of why I came here. And on top of that, I truly have a bet that I'm making with myself that Tampa is going to be the hub for entrepreneurs in the next coming 2 decades or so. I see the buildings, the construction, they're constantly building, pouring millions and millions of dollars into this construction efforts. And dude, and I just want to be a part of it. Yeah. Being young, I feel like this school will be the place to be. We have the rankings academically. And you add the infrastructure on top of that, we'll surpass places like Miami, USC, schools like that. This will be the place to be. And I wanted to set my roots here for that reason. So that's the long-winded answer of why I decided to come here.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Tampa is the new Miami. I said it here first. This city is growing every single day. I see buildings, I see skyscrapers, I see all this stuff happening every day. People are coming here for break, whether it's, like you said, CEOs of companies, tech companies are coming down here. The Tampa Bay Wave, I think that's definitely an entrepreneurship conference that I saw when I was moving down here. They had a bunch of people in a hotel in the Hilton downtown. And I was like, it was very inspiring to see that people are kind of coming down here and this city is starting to pick up some flame.
Right.
So, but after that, as a college student, it's very difficult to navigate through places. And
Yeah.
you seem like the guy to be able to navigate very well, I would say. How do you navigate through all the distractions, the social life, even school? How do you balance all of that, MJ?
So I think for me, it starts with finishing the sentence, I have my most productive days when. If you're truly trying to optimize for productivity, I know, for example, I'm a truly extroverted person by nature. I love talking to people. I love helping people. My friends will tell you that I can sit and talk to you for hours about entrepreneurship, business, what I'm doing, what you're doing, get to know you guys a little bit better. And I love talking to people. I love people in general. So for me, in order for me to focus on being productive and being my best, most focused self, I had to really put myself in an environment where that was the only thing that was possible. I can't remember where I heard this quote from, but there's this famous writer who said that, for the first 2 hours of his day, the only thing that he would allow himself to do is write. So he could sit there in boredom, but he couldn't do anything else but write. And that's how he forced himself to be productive on the task of writing. I think for me, living on my own has forced me to be in an environment where the only thing that's in front of me are my goals. And so I'm going after them. So my friends will tell you I limit the amount of time that I spend with them, which it hurts emotionally, but I know that it's for a long-term benefit. So that's kind of how I stay focused. I stay aligned with my mission, my vision, and my values, and I'm always in pursuit. And I manufacture my environment to be in pursuit with me.
So would you say people would have to live alone per se to be better as a person, or because I would say for me it's definitely a challenge in college, seeing all the distractions and being with a lot of people, because you can get lost in different crowds, but sometimes being by yourself, it's tough. It's very challenging, I would say. We get caught up in our own heads, whether it's social media, whether it's the fear of FOMO. That's very big. My question to you is, would you advise people to live by themselves if they had the option to, or would you want to have that community, that where it's brother to brother type thing, where you have a bunch of guys living together, and they may not be getting as much stuff done, but they may be doing a lot of stuff together, and it's kind of that brotherhood. So would you rather have that, or would you rather be by yourself, which is kind of more alone with? You might get more stuff done, but you're kind of missing out on some of those opportunities, whether it's socially, and different things like that.
Yeah, so I believe in what's called seasons of life. So right now, I'd say that I'm in a season of grind. I have these big goals. I'm in pursuit of these goals, and in the wake of those things, nothing else matters. So I told you the last time we met that I rank my priorities, from school to business to content to social. So for me, I don't necessarily think that people need to spend time alone. I think that it goes from person to person. So for me, because I know I work best in isolation, that means I'm gonna be more productive in isolation. For someone else, they might work best in a Starbucks type environment where you have all these different moving pieces around you, and it's hectic, but you're staying focused. That's just not me personally. I think that it comes down to answering the question, in what environment do you have your most productive days, and then focusing on that. I definitely believe that each person would benefit from having a season of their life where they live on their own, because that way you get to understand, how do you live by yourself and thrive by yourself without the help of your parents, without the help of other students or any community members. But both are important. And I'm young, so I can do this a lot easier now than I would be if I had a family. But it's just a season of life, man, and it's whatever works for you, really.
Yeah. Do you miss your parents?
That's
Do you
a tough
miss your
question.
parents? I'm just throwing stuff out, man.
That's a tough question. I love my parents. I really do. Miss them. I talk to them a lot, man.
Okay.
So I wouldn't necessarily say I miss them, but when I do see them, it brings me joy.
Yeah, I talk to my parents probably 5 times a week. 5 times a week. I try. Mom and Dad, I have a very busy schedule, but I try to talk to you guys as much as possible. I miss you guys. I miss the family. I miss all that stuff. I miss home. But honestly, when I'm here, I feel like it's different, because when I go home, I can't wait to get back here, because I feel like everything is going so fast here, and I like that. And sometimes when I'm just by myself and I'm not doing things, I feel like a lot of times in my mind, I'm like, why am I not doing something?
Yeah.
Why am I not striving to be better? So I miss it. That just goes through my mind a lot. MJ, you're a content creator. You have made a lot of videos. I would almost go and say you're famous on TikTok.
Not quite.
You're definitely up there, bro. I don't really go on TikTok a lot, but I've had to watch a lot of your videos, and they're pretty good, bro.
Thank you.
I've honestly almost doom scrolled. Like, dang, I just keep scrolling on his videos. They're so good. The day in the lives, how to become a better student, this and that. Like, those videos are honestly inspiring. I love them. You talk about day in the life. For those who haven't been on your TikTok, we'll plug that at the end. But for those who haven't been on your TikTok, what does a day in the life look like for MJ?
Yeah, so actually it's funny. I just made another day in the life video and uploaded it before this.
I'm gonna have to watch that after, right?
It was more of like my morning routine sort of thing, but kind of the same concept. But for those that don't watch my TikTok or don't know me, I wake up around 4:30-ish. 4:30 to 4:45, depending on when I go to bed. I go to bed between 8 and 8:30. When I wake up, I do all the normal morning routine things, brush my teeth, wash my face, take a shower, all those things. Drink 30 ounces of water and get straight to work. That's pretty much my day from 4:30 to 5. After that, I'm going from usually about 5 to 7, and then I get ready at about 7, go get breakfast, go to my classes. After classes, I'll usually come back and lift, shower a little bit, eat some lunch, and then work for the rest of the night, and then maybe hang out with some friends at the end of the day. So in a nutshell, that is what my day looks like. You get more in depth on my TikTok, but yeah.
Yeah. You'll get more in depth on TikTok. But MJ, I just have one question.
Yeah.
Why 4 a.m.? Because a lot of people are gonna look at this and be like, he's crazy. Because I think he is. I wake up at 6 o'clock, and I think that's extremely early for college. Some days I just want to hit the snooze, but just for advice, don't hit the snooze. Don't hit it at all. Like, when you hear that first alarm, wake up right away. Because if you actually snooze that, for some reason, your brain will go back to sleep for 5 minutes, and then you'll feel even more tired after. That's actually what I've learned, because I used to hit the snooze 3-4 times, and I would feel even more tired after I would hit the snooze every single time.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one advice that I have for everyone. Don't hit the snooze, wake up right away, and wake up at a time you're comfortable at. It doesn't, even if you're not a morning person, you don't have to wake up at 4 in the morning like MJ here, the overachiever, or like me, who I'd say I'm an overachiever as well. You can wake up at 8 o'clock, just don't hit the snooze, wake up right away. So why did you get into the self-improvement space? Because that's definitely something that I started watching videos probably around 2 years ago, just about self-improvement, stuff like that. But why did you get into the space, man?
So I'll answer your first question first. You asked why I wake up at 4:30, and then it'll segue into that question.
Yeah.
But I could tell you that I wake up at 4:30 because my dad always got us up early because he was an overachiever. Yeah. Before he was at the top of the top in his company, he had to work his way up. I could tell you that that's the reason why. I could tell you that I'm just used to it. I also could tell you that every entrepreneur that you see on TikTok or Instagram, they tell you that they wake up stupidly early, like 3:30, 4 a.m., 4:30, like crazy times. But like the truth is, bro, I started waking up at 4:30 because I thought it sounded cool. Like
that's so right. I always see on like the Twitter, the Instagram.
Yeah.
I would say the Instagram motivational stuff like that. You'll see like, I don't know, like celebrities and influencers. They'll have their workout routines or they'll have like their day routines. And the first thing is they're waking up at 3 a.m. or maybe like a David Goggins or like a Kobe would wake up super early and not go to sleep, have like 5 hours of sleep, which I don't recommend that at all.
Yeah.
I don't get as much sleep as possible. But yeah, to answer your question, I would say, yeah, 4 a.m., it's really impressive, bro, because I don't think I could do that.
You could. If you went to bed earlier, you could definitely wake up earlier. That's the key. It's like I get 8 hours of sleep, typically 7 to 8 hours a night. But yeah, I think honestly, number one, like waking up early for me, I feel like I'm more productive in the morning hours than I am at night. That's just me. Also, my dad always used to have this saying that nothing good happens past 10, 11 p.m. So I was always already in bed by that time anyway, and I was like, I might as well just wake up early. And then segue into your next question about why I'm into the self-improvement space. Dude, honestly, I've always been so let me give you context. So 10th grade all the way to now, I've been, super focused on going after my goals and building the infrastructure, the foundation to become the person that I ultimately want to be in life. That's kind of where that started in 10th grade for me. But the reason why I post videos on it is because people used to tell me I can't. Like all I would hear from people is like, you wake up at 5? I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this. And it's like, dude, on my YouTube bio, you'll see me say this exact same thing, but it does not matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter how much money your family has or who your parents are or what they do. You can be successful the second that you flip the switch. And that has been a driving factor in my life for why I do what I do. I post videos because number one, there's not a lot of African-American content creators out there that show young African-American kids and kids of all races and ages that it's possible at a young age to do the things that these adults idolize, that they put on a pedestal. I'm like, you can start now. Yeah. Everybody told me that I was too young. When I started my esports organization at 13 years old, and I call it an esports organization, but it was really just an excuse for me and my friends to play video games and to try to make some money from it. Yeah. But when I told people that, they're like, you're too young to start a business. You can't do this, you can't do that. You don't have the skills, you don't understand the world. And that might have been true back then, and it probably still is true now. But the truth is, nothing's stopping me from building the skills now and documenting my process along the way. So that's why I made these videos, and that's why I'm, quote, considered in the self-improvement space, because I've always wanted to be the best version of myself that I could be. Yeah. And I truly think that if people stop making excuses and they got up, they could do the exact same thing. I'm not special. I'm not special at all. My name is MJ Kimbrough. I'm an African-American student at the University of Tampa. Your name is Grant Martin, you're an African-American student at the University of Tampa. There's nothing special about me. Yeah. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I'm here to prove that there's no, the Elon Musks of the world, the Jeff Bezos of the world, they're just humans, they're just people. And if they're people that could do big things, you're a person that can also do a big thing. And that's why I make the videos, bro. And that's why I'm, quote, in the self-improvement spaces, because I just want to prove to myself and other people that it's possible.
Yeah. I mean, that's brilliant, bro. Yeah. That's honestly, it's amazing that you say all those things. And a lot of people are going to watch that, and they're going to listen to what you say, and they'll be like, okay, that's cool, but how do I have the discipline to wake up at 4, 5, 6 a.m. when I can't even get out of my bed at all? When I'm so deep down in my own thoughts and I'm so depressed, how can I get out of bed?
The truth is, you don't have to wake up at 4, 5, 6 a.m. to be successful. Like a lot of successful entrepreneurs or people in corporate jobs in America, they don't wake up at 4, 5, 6 in the morning. I just do it because it's my personal preference. I'd say as long as you're getting 8 hours of sleep, you can wake up at whatever time. But you have to optimize the time that you're awake. So let's just say that there's 24 hours in a day, which there is, and you have 16 hours of time that you're not awake. you have to figure out, number one, where your time is going, and number two, how you're gonna better allocate your time to get more output on your input. Like it's a leverage game, bro. Like the most successful people get more for putting in 1 hour than an average person. So like I put in 1 hour, I make 10 grand from it. I'm not saying me specifically, I'm saying it as an example. And if you put in 1 hour, you get a grand, who has more leverage? The person who got 10 grand out of it, right? Yeah. They put in 1 unit of time and got out like an exercise amount of dollars that were like, as an example. And honestly, bro, like people, they, how do I put this? You make change whenever the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change. Like that's the truth. And I'm butchering that quote. I don't know who said it first.
I forgot what it was called. I think it was the pain.
Yeah.
I forget. Yeah, I know what you're talking about though.
You
Yeah.
know,
I know
lot
exactly
of people
what
probably
you're saying. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think like the having discipline part, bro, it's not that I have discipline. Like, yeah, that's a byproduct of me being in pursuit of my goals. But the truth is, bro, I just want to do something great. And I know that I have to put in certain inputs to get a certain output. And I'm committed to that grind. I'm committed to that path. Because like I cannot sit here and say that I want to do big stuff and not be able to walk the talk with my actions. That's the truth. And some people, if I'm being completely honest, bro, some people need to give up the notion that they're gonna be super, like, widely successful and just be comfortable in their own life. Because, like, I know, for example, me, when I wasn't taking action on going after my goals and I was just, playing video games every single day. I kept saying that I wanted to be big, I wanted to build something great, and I was playing video games every single day. At that point in my life, for somebody who's still in that period, being 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, like, sometimes you just have to accept the fact that you're just not that person, and that's okay. Not everyone can be the Elon Musks of the world. And accepting that sooner and living the rest of your life, the next 70 years of your life, in happiness and joy will be better than you regretting every single day because you're not taking the action. But to the subsection of people that I'm speaking to specifically that want to do good things, that want to do big stuff, I was going to say a curse word, but that wants to do big stuff, you have to flip the switch. Sign a contract to yourself that says you're going to put in these, because here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to cut myself off because people attach the goal to the outcome, when in reality, you should be attaching the goal to the input. So if I know that,
So right.
if I know that for me, for example, I want to get more clients in my media agency, I might commit to making 100 cold calls. Noob entrepreneur says, I'm not going to be happy until I get 1 or 2 clients.
Yeah.
Average or better than noob entrepreneur will say, I'm going to attach my goal to the input of making the 100 cold calls. So as long as I make the 100 cold calls in a day, I've completed my goal. I'm satisfied with myself. And growing steadily is okay. You don't have to be a millionaire tomorrow.
Yeah.
You don't have to be. It's steady growth over time that compounds, that creates success. And that's the truth.
So I think the thing that, and I just want to say to everyone, MJ he's very good. He's very good at what he does because as he was talking, I'm trying to think of some questions to ask, like after just a segue, and he's talking about, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's been doing this for a while. He's been doing it since he was 14. So MJ, just once again, I want to applaud you for everything you've done,
Thank
bro.
you.
I mean,
Thank you.
You are really an inspiration to not only me, but whoever sees his TikToks and Instagram. Very, very inspirational. But I also want to segue back to what, like, the entire question I was asking, and then you start talking about, we start talking about discipline and whatnot. What would you say, do you ever use social media? Like outside of you using your own platforms to promote, your own services and whatnot, do you use social media every day?
I wouldn't say it's an everyday thing for me. I've almost gotten to the point where I gamify the amount of time that I don't spend on my phone. So give you context. Yesterday, I think I spent 28 minutes on my phone throughout the entire day. And I kept looking at that time. Every time I opened my phone to put on a new podcast, I kept looking at that time like 28 minutes. Great. Like, let's not get above 30 or let's not get above 40 or whatever. But there are times in my life where I wouldn't label it as a slip up, but we all get into the point where we just doom scroll and whatever. But one of the things that I've been doing to like help me not do that as much is, number one, gamifying screen time. Number two, setting time limits on these apps. So after I post, it used to be a trend for me that after I posted a video, I just scroll. I just scroll for like maybe 15, 20 minutes. And then I realized I was doing it. So I set a time limit on my phone that says, okay, you're not gonna be on Instagram or TikTok for more than 10 to 15 minutes a day. And when I started doing that and I started to get the notification and the reminder that, hey, I'm on my phone a little bit too long, that's when I started to detach like from social media. And I think that's something that anyone can do, honestly, bro.
Yeah.
Anyone. So am I on my phone? Yes, I have times where I slip up and I'm on social media a whole lot, but the majority of the time, no, I'm pretty much not on social media, especially if I'm occupied with something else.
Do you delay gratification?
So, yes, but give me context. So, give me an example of what you mean.
An example of delaying gratification.
I'd say I'm doing it right now.
How would you say you're doing it right now?
I mean, delayed gratification, so I won't get too deep into this, but I'll say that the 4 ways to get customers are you reach out to people you know.
Yeah.
Hormozy calls it the core 4 in his new book, $100 Million Leads. You reach out to people you know, reach out to people you don't know, you make content about the thing that you do, you run ads about the thing that you do, or you get referrals. So like the content and the ads, that's all under media. That's like one thing. You can either pay for it or you can do it organically. I'd say that the thing that I'm optimizing for right now is the content piece. So never will I ever like monetize my audience, my personal brand audience, but I do make content on the agency page about how to build your audience, and the whole funnel for that is to get people to click the link and then book a call and then hop on a sales call with me. Like that's the purpose of that. Yeah. I'm so transparent. So I'd say that content is it's an input-outputs game over a long period of time.
Okay.
And you can't start making content today and then expect to blow up tomorrow. The whole idea of content is delayed gratification. So you see it in my personal brand. Dude, there was times last year when I was starting out on like my new TikTok, my new personal brand TikTok, and my then girlfriend at the time, I would like tell her like, I might just quit. I'm at 428 followers. My videos keep flopping. I'm posting it everywhere. I'm repurposing the content. And I felt like I just wasn't getting anywhere. And I almost quit. But I remember a video took off, it got 2 million views, and that just skyrocketed growth for me. But I would have never gotten there if I had just quit. Yeah. So you have to delay the gratification in order to be successful. That's the key thing. That's the name of the game, bro. Yeah.
For me, delaying gratification, I would say is, and the short answer is deleting social media. Yeah. I delete social media at periodic times. I would say, let's say right now, I haven't probably used it in like 2 months. I've completely deleted Snapchat. I don't use Snap anymore. That's just me. Don't be mad for everyone. I don't use Snap anymore, so don't text me because I probably won't answer. But I use iMessage, and I would say iMessage for me is definitely the best thing because I'm not scrolling. If I want to talk to you, I will talk to you. I will open your message, and I will respond as soon as possible. I'm extremely quick all the time. For me, social media, when I was using it a lot, and I could tell a difference because during summer, I would go times where I would be on it for like, let's say a week. I would actually test myself. I'll go on it like every day for a week. And then I wouldn't go on it for 2 weeks. And I would see actually an increase in my productivity because I'm not so focused on what's going on in the outside world. Obviously, on the outside world, it's very important to still be in touch with everything, whether it's, interest in, financial and stuff like that. But for me personally, to really lock in, to really see my full potential, I had to really sacrifice the things I loved. And some of the things I loved were social media, playing video games. Like I stopped playing video games. I've cut out caffeine. I know there's a Starbucks cup right here, but I know I've cut out caffeine, but there's a Starbucks cup right here. I really don't drink as much caffeine just because when I'm at peak, like when my mind is super sharp, when I'm not into distractions and all this stuff, when I'm not going out all the time, I am at my peak performance. I'm able to think of so many ideas, think of so many things. That's when my brain is firing. And I love my brain to always be on fire. So for me, delaying gratification is going off social media, not playing video games, not having things that are super easy for me. Reading a book. I read a lot now. My mother, I would always be pissed at her because she'd be like, Grant, why aren't you reading 30 minutes a day? I'm like, Mom, why do I have to read 30 minutes a day? Yeah. Now I realize that reading, honestly, is probably my biggest superpower because I am able to sit down, read a book, and it could be for 15 minutes, it could be for 30 minutes, but I've completed something that doesn't include my phone. It doesn't include something that will give me gratification right away. When the 30 minutes is done, you'll be like, yo, I just read for 30 minutes. Yeah. And then you read for an hour. And then you could read for however long you want, but it's those incremental steps that you get to reach an ultimate goal. That's what I would say. You have steps along the way to reach that Mount Everest or whatever that goal is. That's, for me, that's delayed gratification. Not having something right at the beginning. You're getting all the effects at the beginning. No, you're getting it at the end. But that work, honestly, that's the dream, bro.
Yeah.
For me, that's been the dream for me, the work. Because
Yeah.
I'm able to stay focused. This morning, I woke up at 6 o'clock. I didn't eat. And by the way, if guys, eat before you go to the gym. I'm a little different. I'm a little crazy when I do that. But for some reason, when I don't eat anything, my mind is like, okay, I need food, but I still need to work out. So I'll work out hungry. And working out hungry for me, honestly, is my superpower. Because I'm not giving myself that gratification of, oh, I need food, I need hunger, all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pushing through that. And that's honestly, that's the quickest thing to delay gratification right away. Not just reading, but going to the gym, not eating, and then being able to have that delicious omelet right after you go to the gym, because you've earned that. You've earned the right to have that. Not giving it yourself right away when you wake up in the morning. No, don't do that. Give it yourself after you've done the work. So that's delayed gratification for me.
I think the way that I'd operationalize that is say that, number one, delayed gratification and patience go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So being able to wait for extended periods of time without getting the thing that you desire is, quote, patience.
Yes.
And so I'd even go as far to say it's like, it's not just can you not, or can you wait to do the thing, or can you not wait to do the thing?
Yeah.
It's more so how long can you wait? And I think like in that stretch, on that spectrum, the people who can wait the longest win the biggest.
Yes.
I'll say that again. The people who can wait the longest win the biggest. And you're in that game right now. I'm in that game. He's in that game. We want to be the best versions of ourselves. And part of that is being able to wait on, and not giving up just because you're not getting the result right now. That's the main theme of what we're talking about here today. It's like, you have to be patient with your goals. I see this in a lot of, and I'm still a young entrepreneur myself. Yeah. I'd say that, I'm definitely getting past level 1 of entrepreneurship, so I can speak to people who are just getting started, but I'm not the Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezos, the top of the top. I'm in my learning growth era too, right? So, but one thing that I would say is for a lot of the young, aspiring people out there is stop switching up what you're doing. Stick with one thing. Practice delayed gratification, practice your patience, and stick with it for a period of time where it'd be unreasonable for you to fail at that one thing. That's what I believe in. So this venture that I'm working on right now, we're going to segue eventually into the media agency. I've given myself 60 months, which is 5 years, to achieve a certain echelon, like a certain threshold of like just goals, whether that be revenue, whether that be team members, staff, whatever. I've given myself 60 months, and I'm committed to only doing that thing during that period of 60 months. That's my form of delayed gratification.
Yeah. So segueing to your agency. Yeah. For those who don't know, what is your agency? What is your media agency?
Yeah, so Lid Creative is basically my way of giving to other people what I've been able to do myself. So we help coaches, consultants, realtors, anyone with a monetizable product build their personal brand through organic content creation. That's what we do in a nutshell. Yeah.
So with Lid Creative, by the way, very impressive. I've been thinking about doing this podcast for a very long time. I've actually told you that we were going to have this probably 4 months ago, and I've been procrastinating. There's been a couple of stuff behind the scenes that has delayed this process. So for you to have this and put this out at such an early age, I mean, bravo to you, bro. Really impressive.
Thank you.
Like, honestly, I'm very inspired that you're doing this and you're able to share your story to people, not only through TikTok, but through Instagram and other platforms. So MJ, give me the next 5 years of Lid Creative, man. What do you see Lid Creative at in the next 5 years, bro? Where do you see it?
So I won't tell you a number.
Okay.
But I will tell you that, we have multiple different clients who have, number one, gotten significant results from the thing they're doing, because we have there's a couple of people who have, gotten results from the thing that we do. And, but I want a lot of people. I want a stack of undeniable proof that Lid Creative is the place to be if you want to build your personal brand and if you want to figure out a way to monetize that personal brand. I want us to be the complete go-to. So any of my other competitors, I won't shout them out on here, but any of my other competitors, I don't even want them to be thought of. That's what I envision Lid Creative being in the next 60 months. Full-time staff, consistent revenue month over month, consistent growth, number one, decrease churn rates, number 2, and just ultimately, being aligned with, how would I put this? Having upward momentum over the next 5 years. That's where I see us going.
Okay. Are there any changes that you had to make, whether that's personally, whether that's your mentality, like approaching this agency, or even social circles, that you had to kind of change in order to make Lid creative, I would say, and go above like thinking that, okay, maybe this isn't possible, but maybe it is possible because I changed something about myself?
Yeah.
Would you say there's something that changed?
Definitely. I definitely say where my time is allocated, that's a big thing that's changed. I believe in the fact that, how do I put this? If you do there's always an opportunity cost to anything that you do. So us being here in this podcast means that I can't go back to my dorm and work on a video. Yep. That's the opportunity cost of being here. And of course, why I'm here is because the benefit of being here outweighs the benefit of me making another video, because I already made one today, right? So when you do one thing, you take away from another. That's just a given. Yeah. So working on Lid Creative has definitely taken away from, number 1, my consistency on my personal brand. So building out this agency has forced me to stretch my horizon and have my hands in different hats at one time. So excelling at school, that's number 1. That cannot slip because number 1, I made a promise to my parents. I made a promise to myself that I would finish out strong. I would also get an advanced degree, and that I would finish, at the top of my class, or like seemingly in the top ranges of my class. Sure. And number 2, so that means that I had to take away from a different hat, which is obviously friends. And all of my friends, we love each other. They know that when business calls, I'm there, and it's no hard feelings. It's just my passions and me being in pursuit of my goals. I kind of talked to you about this before, about my priorities list. So number 1 is school. Above all else, there's health. Obviously, I have to stay healthy.
Yeah, you gotta go to gym. Come on, you gotta go to gym.
Gym, eat healthy, mental health. I mean, all the entire bucket of health. Yeah. But gotta stay healthy. School, business, content, personal. Yes. So in the wake of school,
A lot of very nice cars in Tampa, I'll be honest. That's another thing. Yeah,
right.
Very nice cars.
So for me, in the wake of school, if I have an exam that I have to study for, nothing else matters. Okay, now if everything's done for school and I'm good on that horizon, in the wake of business, if I have a sales call I have to hop on, if there's a video that I need to make, if there's an ad creative that I need to tweak, that matters more than me making a video for my personal brand or hanging out with friends. In the wake of that being okay, so let's say both of those hats are now okay, then I can work on my video. So if I have another video that I want to put out, I'm gonna start editing and working on that video. So if that's okay, if all those 3 check marks check, that's when I'm hanging out with friends, that's when I'm going out to dinner, that's when I'm doing all the social activities that makes college worth it.
Yes.
So that's kind of how I structure my life. I mean, honestly, most people, 99% of people would not agree with the way that I structure my life, but also 99% of people aren't trying to go where I want to go. Yeah. So that's the trade-off. And number 1, I have to be okay with that. I had this quote, I don't know if I coined it, but I thought of it at 4:45 in the morning 3 days ago.
Bro, those are some of the best thoughts. I thought about launching this podcast. I told you, we were talking earlier. I started thinking about this probably at 2 in the morning. I was just up on a Friday night. I was like, bro, what am I doing? It's 2 in the morning. I'm like, why don't I start a podcast?
Yeah,
I was just thinking about it. I'm a podcast listener. I'm an avid podcast listener. I probably listen to one a day and probably hour and a half. I'm not going to plug any podcasts, but I would say I listen to a various amounts of podcasts throughout the day. But some of your most, and it's crazy because I don't want to be up that late anyway, but some of your most best ideas happen so late at night.
Yeah, it's because of the way your brain functions when it's either tired or when it's just waking up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying, so at 45 in the morning, I had this quote and it just stuck with me. I went in my voice memos as quick as I could. I said it out loud again. I butchered it a couple of times, but I distilled it down to this. It's that you have to be willing to sacrifice everything in pursuit of your goals or lose to somebody who did. And that is the truth. All honesty, that is the truth. Because the fact of the matter is that, like I was saying, when you do one thing, you take away from another. So, for example, I could say that one of the biggest constraints in me growing my business right now, obviously it's not a bad thing, but it's school.
Yes.
School takes up a ton of time, from classes to studying to the mental bandwidth that it takes up a lot of time. So, me knowing that I'm A, not gonna give up on school, I B, have to know that anyone who is willing to give up school can beat me. And they might beat me. ceteris paribus, all things being the same, they will beat me because their time is not being diverted to going to school. Yeah. Now, in my case, I'm willing to sacrifice not only time with friends, but a lot of things in wake of my goals. And for someone else who's watching this podcast, if you're not willing to sacrifice that, you're gonna lose to somebody like me who is. And that's just the reality of the world. I say it plainly, and I don't mean to sound super harsh, but that's just the reality of the world. Elon Musk, the reason why he's worth $200-some billion is because he sacrificed time with his family, he sacrificed time with his kids, he sacrificed his mental bandwidth between SpaceX, Tesla, Twitter, PayPal, all these different companies. But he's arguably one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our generation. Not our generation, but our time, our period of time. Mm-hmm. So that's what I take away from looking at someone like Elon Musk. Obviously, you don't have to be as radical as me, but I feel like there's a direct correlation between what you're willing to sacrifice and how successful you'll be. And that's just my thought process on it.
What would be your advice to current students that are trying to overcome challenges, their own personal challenges? Maybe they want to be like you. Maybe they want to have the idea to start their own agency, start their own podcast, start their own band, or be a singer, or even be a content creator. For those who are overcoming that struggle of getting to that first step, what is your advice to them?
So, my advice to anyone who wants to be super good at anything in life is prioritize it. And I don't mean it the way that Gen Z means it. When I say prioritize, I mean in the wake of this thing, nothing else matters. A lot of people that either DM me or see my content and comment, they all have similar stories. It's like they want to do this thing, but they can't get over this obstacle. And it's like, dude, you can remove that obstacle the second that you want to. Your environment, although it plays a part in shaping who you are, you can change your environment by changing the people that you surround yourself with. So number one, get around like-minded individuals. That's number one, because that's gonna be the easiest way to skyrocket growth. I'll give you an example. Mr. Beast, when he was starting out with content creation, he literally rented out a house with 5 other YouTubers, and they committed to making a video every single day. And when he was in that period of grind, I call it the Rocky cutscene, when he was in that period of grind, he grew exponentially compared to any other period of time where he's grown. So there's a lot to take away from that. The people you surround yourself with, it's so crucial to curate your sphere of influence. It's so crucial to curate that. So number one, figure out the kind of person you want to be. Number two, surround yourself with that kind of person. Number three, do the thing. Figure out the inputs and outputs equation for you to be successful at that thing. So if you say that you want to be good at school and you want to get straight A's or be a 4.0 student, then figure out what a 4.0 student does. So what time do they wake up? How many hours a day do they study? Do they go out? Do they party? Do they drink? Do they do all these things that some of these other college students do? Obviously drink above the age of 21. We're legal here, of course, but
yes.
Replicate before you iterate. I believe in that. Completely copy their schedule word for word, bar for bar, and then once you've mastered that, then make your own little MJ twist or Grant twist on it. But literally, so figure out who you want to be, surround yourself with those people, figure out the inputs and outputs equations to doing the thing that you want to do, and then take action.
Sir.
And then take action. That is the biggest piece of this entire equation because nothing happens unless you take action.
You're 100% right, MJ. But when you speak with, I don't know, there's a bass about you that is very, it's inspiring. When you speak, I listen. When you speak, I hope other people listen too, because what you have to say is honestly, it's influential, bro. I mean, the way you speak.
I appreciate that.
So, MJ, you've started your agency, you're a content creator, you do a lot of things. And on top of that, you go to school. That's on top of that, you go to school. Why are you so ambitious? What made you so ambitious? Did something happen at an early age where you're like, okay, I gotta switch. There's something about me that has to change. Or has this always been MJ since day one?
So, to give you a little bit of context without going too deep into it, a lot of people see my life now and they think he had to have grown up that way. The truth is, when I was younger, I was the complete opposite. Let me give you context. I used to get in trouble all the time. And the reason was because I'll let that pass. But the reason is because I was seeking the validation and the approval of my parents. My parents were always super ambitious people. Like I told you, they worked their way up into various different organizations, became the top of the top in both of their respective fields, and I wanted their attention, so I did stupid things, and I got stupid results as a result of that. And I think seeing my parents coming from where they come from, my dad, number one, he lost his mother at a young age, never knew his father. His brother was paralyzed from gang violence at a young age as well, still paralyzed to this day, still alive and well, thank God, and was in foster care until he aged out. So seeing the fact that my father could do that and still hit it big to where he is now, oh my gosh, that is the most inspiring story that I've ever seen. And my mom, she fought tooth and nail to stay in college. Her full-time job, bro, was finding scholarships so that she could stay at Mizzou. That was her full-time job. And then she went off and hit it big. So the two people who got dealt the worst hands possible figured out a way to turn their life around. They figured out a way to turn their life around.
Resilience.
It was resilience. It was discipline. And I cannot be the byproduct of two amazing, beautiful humans and not be something great.
Oh my gosh. That's exactly how I feel. Like, when I came here, I knew I had to do something big. Whether it's start a podcast, whether it's intern at different places in the sports industry, or whatever it was, I knew I had to do something big because my two amazing parents, my mother and my father, even my sister, who's in medical school, shout out to my sister, she's amazing, she's brilliant. My parents set the example. They set the tone at a very young age for me that they were always going to support me, whether it's taking me to basketball practice, do other things, but in return, you be great. You be a good person. You be a good student. You be a good friend. You be a good son. And you be a role model for others. And that's honestly that's the model that I'm trying to give to other people right now. And you're doing the same as well.
Yeah, it's a noble path to walk on.
MJ, it's been a pleasure having you on. And I want to segue to the last topic that we have. This is probably going to be the best topic that I have, honestly.
I'm
Rapid
excited.
Fire questions, man.
Okay, here we go.
This is the best part of the entire podcast.
Here we
5
go.
dinner guests, dead or alive. Who you having, man?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive.
Ooh, that's tough.
Who you having?
My dad,
Yep.
my mom, Elon Musk, Donald J. Trump, and last one, alive, Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. Okay.
And there's reasons for all of them.
Okay.
There's reasons for all of them. I think that there's a lot to be learned from those people in particular.
Why Trump specifically? If they didn't get that, why Trump specifically?
So, without going too deep into politics, I think that regardless if you're liberal or conservative, I think that there's a lesson to be learned in how Donald Trump rose to his presidential fame, if you will, or infamy, if you will. Yeah. Half the country loves him, half the country hates him. And to be able to still build something great and still become at the top of what we consider the food chain in America, the president's seat in the Oval Office, and you have millions of people, hundreds of millions of people who just do not like your guts. There's something to be learned from that, regardless of if you're liberal, if you're conservative, regardless. I'd say number two, my parents. So I don't have as much access to my parents as a lot of kids have access to theirs. I'd say it's actually a fraction of the amount. Yeah. So I definitely want to learn. I want to understand the inner workings of their brain to say, how are you so ambitious? How did you? Because I'm ambitious because of you. But how did you get there, right? I want to understand your thought processes. And I go for both my parents. Mm-hmm. I'd say what was the fourth person? Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Dude, I want to understand how you're able as a human to emotionally go through so much sacrifice and still be great at what you do.
Sure.
No matter if someone loves you or they hate you, they cannot deny the fact that you are the top entrepreneur in the world that we've ever seen. Like, no one can deny that. So I'd obviously invite him. And then lastly, Ta-Nehisi Coates. I love his book.
Yeah.
I want to pick his brain more, understand more about his sociological perspectives and his theoretical perspectives on race, ethnicity, and all those topics like that. I want to learn more.
Yeah. Any city in the world where you live in?
New York.
New York?
Dude, that's so controversial with New York.
New York
or California. New York, though, would be my top.
New York?
Yeah.
When you're approaching women, Do you ask for their number, their Instagram, or their Snapchat? What do you do? What does MJ do?
So I go straight for the jugular, bro. I ask for the number.
Dude, number's the best, man.
It's the best.
Yeah,
it's the best.
I honestly think it's, and Snapchat won't be in there, obviously, 'cause I don't use Snapchat anyway, but
Right.
honestly, Instagram, I feel like you get to know the person, but that FaceTime, man, you get to really know a person. FaceTime, man. That's why I love FaceTime.
And then you get direct access to them, so you're not just like everybody else. So if
you
I ask a girl for her snap, how many other dudes does she have in her snap nowadays?
Probably 50.
And if not more.
If not more, bro.
I've been seeing a couple million snap scores, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, tell me about it. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Top 3 workout exercises in the gym.
Bench press, incline press, tricep extensions.
Try it. And last question, top 3 favorite YouTubers.
Mr. Beast, Alex Ramosi. Who would I give the third spot to? They got to be good. He's Alex Ramosi, and then I would probably say Logan Robles.
I've never heard of Logan.
Yeah, he's a fairly small creator in the pool of creators. He has about
Okay.
300,000 subs, but he posts really nice cinematic vlogs, and I love them, bro. Literally. Actually, a lot of my content has been modeled from his template. It's like how you cut videos. I learned a lot just by watching his videos. So shout out to you, Logan L. Robles. Yeah.
Socials, what are your socials, man? How can they find you, MJ?
Dude,
Socials.
yeah, so if you Google my name, you'll find me. The first thing that'll pop up will be my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But my name on any major platform, it's spelled MJ Kimbrough. That's Kim as in Mary, B as in boy, Rough. You'll find me on any major platform.
MJ, bro, it's been a pleasure, man.
Always.
I mean, this has been
Always.
an amazing
Always.
podcast. For a first episode, you have made this wonderful.
Thank you.
Delight. For everyone who's watching, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.
See you later.
See you later.